Hi, I'm Gabby Hanna with William Ravis Real Estate. In these dramatic times, are you thinking about the quality of your life and where you live it? I'm here to help. Call 917-696-8952. We can have a Zoom chat and find out how I can help you live your dream. 5% of any closed sale will be donated to the Provincetown Theater.
Serving eclectic and delicious meals at your community year-round waterfront restaurant, Finizzi's is a longtime supporter of the arts on Cape Cod and beyond. So when the time is right, come take a seaside seat at Finizzi's.
Budget Blinds Mid and Outer Cape Cod is proud to support the community we serve. Remember, we design, we measure, we install, you enjoy.
Hello, Scott Allegretti here. Congratulations to everyone at the Provincetown Theater for an amazing renaissance. Please consider giving back to the arts community, and please stay healthy and strong. Thank you.
When visiting the Outer Cape, the lobster pot is a Provincetown tradition you will not want to miss. Enjoy a beautiful harbor view meal in one of our 2 waterfront dining rooms, starting daily at 11:30 a.m., offering the finest and freshest in seafood, Portuguese specialties, steaks, poultry, vegetarian, light fare, and of course, our award-winning clam chowder. The entire menu is also available for takeout. Or just pop in at the top of the pot bar for one of our famous Bloody Marys or other signature drinks. The Lobster Pot, family owned and operated for 41 years. We're all working differently for now, but for all of us at Siemens Bank, we continue to be inspired by our experience with so many local businesses and families whose hard work and commitment to each other and to the community show the way to getting through this together. When looking to visit Provincetown, look no further than the Somerset House Inn, with charming modern lodgings in the ideal Provincetown location. The Somerset House Inn is situated on Commercial Street, just across from the Cape Cod Bay, within walking distance to shops, art galleries, restaurants, and the beach. The Somerset House Inn is open year-round. Advertising support for our season includes Kinling Grover Real Estate, The Boat Slip, Burns & Levinson, Joe DiMartino at Caldwell Banker, Pat Schultz Real Estate, the Lexvist Group, including the Cape Cod Inn, Breakwater Hotel, and Truro Cottages, the Adam Peck Gallery, Emily Flax at Atlantic Bay Sotheby's, Relish Bakery and Sandwich Shop, Tim Brown at Seascape Realty, Victor's Restaurant, Lisa Bergeron at William Ravis Real Estate, Test and Treat, Blue Day Spa, Joel Harms at William Ravis Real Estate, P-Town Hacks, Cape Air, and the Strangers and Saints Restaurant, plus the major support of the Arts Foundation of Cape Cod, Broadway Cares, Equity Fights AIDS, the Cape Cod 5 Foundation, the David Adams Schoolman Trust, the Eastman Bank Charitable Foundation, Mass Humanities, the Paulette Fund, the Provincetown Tourism Fund, the Roy Cockrum Foundation, the Theater Community Benevolent Fund, and of course, donations from audiences like you.
Happy Halloween from Provincetown.
Happy Halloween from Provincetown.
I heard hello from the other side, and you will too. It's just a matter of time.
By the pricking in my thumbs, something wicked this way comes.
Happy Halloween, P-Town. I love you.
Happy Halloween from Provincetown. Ha 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 ha!
Happy Halloween! Sorry, I just love. Welcome, David Drake, here at the Provincetown Theater, Artistic Director, and welcome to my very favorite holiday of the year, Hallows Eve, the night when the line between the living and the dead is at its thinnest, which is why we wear masks. We wear these masks to protect ourselves, protect you guys from me if I potentially have germs. And then we wear these masks to disguise ourselves so that the demons from below don't reach up and pull us down into the underground of the dead. Because they don't recognize us because we're in a mask. We're in disguise. Just like the theater. Disguise, make-believe, masks, superstition. Theater's a very superstitious place. You know, it's like, do you know why it's bad luck to whistle in the theater? It's because back in the olden days, they hired sailors to be the stage crew, and they would pull the ropes on the side and the wings down from the fly system up above to put the sets down on stage and the flats down on stage. And they would use the same whistles that they used out at sea to do the masts and the sailing and everything. So if you start whistling in the theater, you might just end up with a set on your head and you might end up dead. Now, we don't have a fly system here at the Provincetown Theater, but there's a whole bunch of weird wires and pipes, and there's all kinds of stuff up there, which is, oh, speaking of the dead, that's why it's very bad luck to place your shoes on the dressing room table, you see, because if you do, it means that the actor who is playing that role has died or has been fired. So either way, keep them on the floor if you want to keep performing. And when you perform, of course, that's the most famous and well-known superstition of the theater of all, which is why we don't say good luck, we say break a leg. Now, there's lots and lots of reasons why break a leg is a story. There's lots of reasons maybe where it came from, like the Elizabethans used to smash their chairs for approval at the curtain call until the legs would break, to the night at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C., when John Wilkes Booth shot Abraham Lincoln and leapt from the balcony down onto the stage only to break a leg, to the simple act of taking a bow or a curtsy where one breaks a leg. And of course, the theater itself has a very stationary superstition with the ghost light. Why are they here? Where do they come from? What's their story? Well, there's lots of legends as to where the ghost light actually comes from, which is a single lighted bulb left in the theater after the actors and the audience and the crew have all gone home after the curtains went down, and it stayed lit all through the night until the next performance when the crew comes in. And that's one of the reasons practically why people think maybe the ghost light came to be, that it was actually here for the stage crew, so that they wouldn't trip over the props and the set or fall into the orchestra pit and break their neck and die, which is another major legend of the ghost light, that it's actually here for the dead, the ghosts, to ward off evil spirits from the sacredness of the storytelling arena, or to lure them in, to lure in spirits who want to stay, performers who want to sing and dance and recite and prance if they want to, or perhaps for a wayward spirit that needs a safe harbor, not figured out how to get over to the other side. The ghost light pulls them here. It holds them here. It releases them here. And to where? For when we die, we know that our body goes into the earth, or into the fire, or into the water, burnt into ashes, and then absorbed back down into the earth. But what of the soul, the spirit? Where does it go? With the body? Into the dirt? Into the sea, or the air that we breathe? We breathe into our lungs, and do we breathe in the soul whole? Or in little pieces, like shattered in the breeze, like little specks that land, a speck of soul that lands and is inhaled into our body and all around us. And what is their purpose for lingering? Are they ghosts? You know, the theater, like I said, it's a very superstitious place, and there's a lot of theories as to why that really is. I think a lot of it can be pointed to the long history of energy and power in storytelling and make believe itself, and in congregation and in ritual, you know, just like church, many of which are riddled with hauntings. In fact, the Universalist Unitarian Church down here in Provincetown on Commercial Street, it's said to be haunted by a woman shrouded in black who roams the main halls and is drawn out to the music. A piece of soul that was left behind when her body gave out in the basement makeshift infirmary during the smallpox epidemic of 1918. Wasn't quite ready to leave the Lady in Black. Wasn't quite ready to be carried out and buried in that little cemetery hidden in the woods across Route 6. Or maybe she wasn't quite dead yet. Saved by the bell? Or not? When I came on here as artistic director of the Provincetown Theater in late 2017, I thought, well, let me freshen up the place a little bit and start a new chapter in its history. And I thought, well, let me start with the lobby. Let me freshen up that lobby. I thought, well, let's make it kind of bright and shiny, eclectic, kind of Cape Cod-y, kind of Williamsburg, Brooklyn-y. I started scrounging around up in the prop room in the attic for different props and books and items and chairs and things, as well as in the containers outside of our building here. And in one of the containers where we hold set pieces and furniture and stuff, excuse me, I found this big flat or mirror wrapped in moving blankets and rope. And I started pulling that off to see what it was. And I saw at the top that there was this gold leaf kind of frame. And I thought, oh, it's a mirror. But it wasn't a mirror. It was a painting, a very large painting. And that is when I first laid eyes upon what many of our patrons here know is Our Lady of the Lobby of the Provincetown Theater. Oh, gosh, I just loved her life-size declaration, her regality, her confidence, her beauty, her dress, and her mystery. It was signed on the back by the artist, Rafael Penuelas, in Madrid, 1961. I Googled him and looked up. I found a few other paintings of his. They were also just as beautiful from around the same era, same very style, probably about a dozen. But there was no clippings and no galleries, museums, no wiki. So the other clue that I found on this painting, well, it's a mystery really, was this patch of old masking tape that was on the back. I thought it was holding together one of these tears in the canvas right over here, but it wasn't. I started peeling it off. It was smooth in the front. And as I peeled it off, I discovered that there was a little envelope there that was folded. And I peeled that out, and inside the envelope, there was a note in Spanish that said, bear with me, to my beautiful Elena, to save you, I had to leave, my little love. And it was signed by someone whose name began with M, but I couldn't make out the rest of the word. It was smush. It seemed to be too smushed for me to read it. And so I wondered, my beautiful Elena, who is your M? Is this your man? Is this your madame? A runaway lover? I didn't know. But that's when it started. The perfume. Now, I don't wear cologne, and nor in my experience do most New Englanders. They just don't. They don't wear it. Men or women. And this was definitely a woman's perfume. It was flowery, and it smelled very expensive. And the first time I ever smelled it, I was in my office over there. It was late at night. It was after a rehearsal, and I was typing up some notes on my computer when whoosh, the smell. Gorgeous. And that was gone. I thought, did one of the actors or actresses come back into the lobby? So I came out here, looked around, smelled around, didn't smell anything, didn't see anybody. I thought, well, maybe they're in the dressing room. I went into the women's dressing room, there was nobody there. I went into the men's dressing room, no smell, nothing there. I went into the theater, same thing, nothing. I was the only person in the building that night. The next time it happened, we were in tech. To just my stage manager and me, and we were in the theater cleaning up after a tech rehearsal. Was late. I was mopping, and from way across the room, she goes, what is that? I said, what is what? She goes, that cologne you're wearing. What is it? I said, I'm not wearing any. And she goes, really? Huh. It was the crash in the theater that really shocked me. I went backstage and I started looking around like, is it in the dressing room? Is it over here with the tools, the kits? Everything looked in place. So I walked into the theater. I started looking around thinking, well, maybe a light had fallen or some cable or a chair. I looked over at the ladders and they were fine. They were in their place when all of a sudden this crash came like from the paint closet. I thought, what is in there? I thought, oh no, maybe we have mice. But we don't have mice. We didn't then, we don't now. Still, I thought if there's something in there, I'm gonna scare it out. Rabbit, raccoon. I opened the door and all of this stuff came crashing down onto me and I didn't know how it had gotten all the way to the door. So I thought, okay, let me just put this away. I'll put it away. I'll deal with this later. When I looked into the sink and I saw this baby doll floating in the sink. It was wrapped in a white scarf. I had never seen it before. Where? Where did she come from?
I knew her from the dunes. She was my babysitter. I knew the minute I laid eyes on that portrait out in the lobby, I was like, oh my God, where did this come from?
Beverly Bentley told me the painting probably came from Norris Mailer. Beverly had been Norman Mailer's ex-wife, and Norris had been his last. And at different times in the Provincetown Theater's history, both women had been very active with the theater. In fact, Norris had actually been artistic director of the theater at one point. It was probably, Beverly told me, from a show. It was a prop in a show, and then she laughed. It used to be in our garage. And then her nephew had brought her to the show, escorted her into the theater. Beverly was very old, well into her 80s, to see You Can't Take It With You. And I watched Beverly Bentley watch You Can't Take It With You that night because I love seeing her laugh and smile and applaud and enjoy the moment of the theater. It was really, really, really lovely. Then afterwards she came out and said, thank you so much. I said, oh no, thank you, Ms. Bentley, thank you so much. And then she looked back up at that painting and said, oh, she was so lovely. I said, oh, did you know her? And she said, yes. Yes, I knew her. And then she grabbed a hold of her nephew's hand and said, it was so sad, so sad. That was the last time I saw Beverly. She passed away shortly after that.
I was 7 years old. My parents had gotten this art residency thing in this dune shack out at Peaked Hill, roughing it. We were roughing it. We loved it. And Liliana was there.
Up until then, I assumed her name was Elena, but because Julia Salinger immediately recognized her upon entering into the theater and started doing plays here, I thought, well, she should know.
So my mother was doing her art thing. And my father was doing, I guess you'd call it a writing thing. And my sister and I were building cities in the sand. All the other kids were building sandcastles. But being from the Bronx, we built Manhattan.
If this woman was really Liliana, then who was Elena? And who was M?
Liliana Silva. She was one of the Silvas. You know, the Silvas out here. But from Spain. I think she was visiting from Spain. Very sensitive. Very quiet. But not shy, really, but more elegant quiet. Barely spoke English, that's for sure. In fact, I learned my Scrabble board version of Spanish from Liliana that summer. Mi amo Julia. Feliz cumpleaños.
I dried off the baby doll and took it upstairs to the prop room. I'd never seen it before. And I never cast baby dolls as babies in shows. It just feels so weird.
Seeing that portrait out in the world survive is so weird. I mean, it's life-size. It's like she's here now. I think she brought that painting over from Spain as a gift to Cody. Cody Silva. That's how she got to the Cape. Through Cody. He was her cousin or something. Oh, he was so handsome. So dashing. He ran a frame shop in Wellfleet. In fact, I think he framed that painting of Liliana. But of course, he was also an artist, like all frame shop owners. And he was having a moment. Abstract, silkscreeny things. This was 1965. Very hot. Very Velvet Underground. Cody was happening.
My teller at the bank was named Silva. And so the next time I was in the bank, I said to her, have you ever heard of someone named Liliana Silva? And Carol goes, oh, well, I haven't heard that name in a long time. I said, oh, really? Well, we've actually got a painting in our theater that I think might be her. And Carol, who was obviously too young to have lived in the mid-60s, she got this kind of odd look on her face and said, I'll have to come by and see it sometime because, you know, she disappeared.
Crazy summer bonfire party. Cody had them all the time. My sister and I would sneak and watch through the bedroom window. Artists, music, hippies, and all the crazy Harry Kemp kooks. And they would get so drunk, passing that jack around, and getting naked. And then they would go body painting, pot, drugs. Christ, it was the 60s. And then they'd go skinny dipping and get into fights. And then, I guess, get lost. That's what my mom told me happened to Liliana. Because after that night, I never saw her again. She got lost.
When I found the baby doll at the foot of the stairs to the prop room in a sheer white scarf, I knew she was trying to tell me something.
Hi, Hillary McHugh here. I'm here as a representative of the Board of Directors on the Provincetown Theater, which I am thrilled to be a part of. We are experiencing David's show tonight, Ghostlight, and we hope you are totally engrossed in this program. It is our first ever live virtual event. And David wrote, produced, and is starring in this show. One of the reasons I became a board member is because of David Drake. I met David personally probably 12 or 15 years ago and was thrilled when I heard he was moving back here to take on the position of artistic director at the Provincetown Theater. I also had moved away for a short period of time, and when I came back, all I kept hearing about was, oh, did you see this at the Provincetown Theater or that? So I had to see for myself, and I started coming to the theater regularly for any event they had. Living here as a year-rounder, the theater offered a lot for me personally in the winter to hear other voices who live on the Cape, to hear outside voices for talkbacks, intellectually stimulating, creative events, which really helps me get through the winter months in Provincetown. So what we want to say is we have not been able to do any of this without you. The reason why the theater is so successful, beyond David Drake's experience, is the theater has come to participate. To sit and stand in that line, I have come here when it has been packed, sold out. The excitement and energy that happens because everybody feels so positive about the theater is the reason we're all here. And since COVID has happened, it has been hard for us. We have not been able to meet in person and have live in-person performances. And I think we really miss it, and I know I do. That's the biggest thing I miss since COVID, is being able to do anything that's cultural. Theater, the movies, the museums. So we're here to try to bring as much of the theater as we can to you that is possible safely in this time. And we hope you will enjoy this show. I know our board, I speak for our entire board and the staff of the theater, that we really appreciate anything you can do to support us. If you feel a $25 donation would be great tonight, but if you feel you can give more, we appreciate that. And if you can't give 25, whatever you can give helps us. You know, it helps to keep the lights on, keep the heat going, and keep our employees going. And most of all, we want to keep that vital, artistic, creative flow coming from you and to ourselves. Thank you for watching us tonight.
I found him on Facebook. Cody Silva's grandson, Arturo Silva, which turns out to be his father's name. And I weirdly knew that for some reason, but that's how I found him, searching the Facebook. But this is Arturo, the grandson, not the son. You know, the Latins, they have like 16 names that they use over and over and over. And turns out that this Arturo did the 23andMe DNA thing, and that's how he found out they were related.
I really just wanted to make these connections from my father. You know, I lost his father in a plane crash when he was just a boy, 8 or 9 years old. And he didn't have much time with him, so I really wanted him, all of the family really. I just wanted to feel kind of more close.
Yeah, closer knit. I get it. Jewish, Catholic, it's the same.
See, yes. And when I found out that my grandfather, Cody Silva, was a successful artist in America, I was so happy because I finally, you know, I had like people and places and things that I could research, and I have things to share with my father and with everyone really about this time in New York and Wellfleet.
And Provincetown.
Yeah, in the dunes, as you said.
He was so handsome, like you.
Yeah.
He was such a charmer. My sister and I had huge crushes. All the girls did. They loved him. Including
Liliana, it would seem.
Oh, were they a thing?
A thing? Oh, no. I think she must have trusted it very much, you know, more like a brother kind of thing. And that is why I found out she left Spain to spend that summer with Cody. Well, that's part of the reason. He could protect her, he could hide her.
What was she running from? The government? Politics? I mean, it's 1965. Fascism.
Maybe a little. Her father was important. He was a government inspector for Franco, so maybe she was under a special protection program, I would say. Honestly, I don't know. Until up a month ago, I never heard of her. I didn't even know she existed until I received the email from 23andme.com.
Oh my God, you found her online? Liliana's alive?
I wish. I don't know. But I know who would love her to be found. The lady that she emailed me, her name is Elena.
Sometimes when I unlock the building, I hear a burble of laughter, like distant chatter at a party somewhere. It's like when Judy Garland lands in Munchkin Land and she hears the Munchkins giggling behind the bushes. She's like, who's there? Who's there? It's only happened a few times, but it always makes me think of the ghost light. That it's doing its job, gathering up the ghosts with the spirits for a party or a rehearsal, a show, something. I don't know. And it's only happened to me when I've been here alone. I mean, I suppose that there are spirits here when the crowds are here and the audience is here and they just sort of mingle in with them and then reveal themselves when it's quiet and dark. I don't know. I mean, if you believe that there are angels looking out for us, why not ghosts? Or maybe they're the same thing.
Hola, it's me from Madrid, changing in the Boston Logan to Cape Cod Provincetown flight. You will know her absolutely, Julia. You don't have to worry. She looks exactly like the picture you sent to me of the portrait.
It was. It took my breath away. Just like Arturo said. I felt like I was 7 years old again.
I wanted the place to be nice when Elena came to visit. And so the night before, I stayed late to clean up the place, straighten up. And as I was turning out the lights and locking up the lobby, what the hell was that? I walked into the theater and, oh my God, how the hell did a sandbag had exploded? I walked over, I knelt down and felt that the sand was soaking wet. And wait, is this seaweed?
So, Elena, this is the Provincetown Theater.
Oh my gosh.
And this is David Drake. This is David. This is David Drake.
Elena, what an honor it
David,
is
nice
to
to
meet
meet you.
Finally. I'm so glad you came here.
Oh my God, keep your eyes closed. You gotta keep your eyes closed.
Okay, where do I
You
go?
gotta keep them closed for a minute. You know, keep them closed.
Okay.
Keep them closed. I'll tell you when to open.
Okay.
Keep them closed. Keep them closed. Okay, open.
Beautiful.
Here you go.
Thank you. I can see my mother. She's so present in Liliana's face and grace in her eyes. I see a map to my history in this painting. She brought it with her, you know? She rolled it into her suitcase because I was told her father wanted to burn it. He destroyed everything. He destroyed her. She was pregnant. My mother is her only child, not married, a bastard child. A different time. Her father was in with Franco. They hit Liliana with the nuns in Andalusia. Then she gave the baby to them. My great-grandfather, he's been dead for a long time now. So I never met any of my mother's family until recently, very recently with the DNA research. And my mother's death last year. It has all been complicated, confusing with my adopted family and all these new people with stories, long ago secrets. So many layers, missing so many things together. I have her name, my mother's name, Elena. You see, Liliana convinced the nuns to let the baby keep the name Elena, so that maybe one day my mother could find her. That didn't happen in their life, which is why my mother named me after herself. So if I ever found her, my grandmother, then she will know I was her blood. But as you can see, as I can see, we are one.
Elena, I'm so sorry that you had to go through this. I just think it was just supposed to be so difficult for you.
I found this note on the back of the painting. I think you should have it.
Mi hermosa Elena, tuve que dejarte para salvarte. Perdóname, mi amor. Mamá. I wonder when she wrote this note. When she was leaving Spain for America that summer? Or when she arrived here? Or on that night? As Cody told my mother long ago, when he caught the last glimpse of Liliana walking past the bonfire toward the ocean.
She's been here. She is here. Even last night.
What?
Yes.
Where?
Last night when I was leaving, she was in the theater.
Hello? Hello? Liliana? My name is Elena. I am your granddaughter. Yes, your second little Elena. Named by my mother, your first Elena. We are here for you now, to tell you we love you. The love has come to you, Liliana. Together. David has given me your note. Julia has led me to your spirit. And my mother, mi madre, who you brought into this world, she's here. I am here to bring us together forever. Gran espíritu, gran abuelo, gran abuela. Como soy, me presento ante ti. Como soy, te pido bendiciones. Y agradezco el corazón que has puesto en mí. Cuando vengo, no más vengo, no más vengo. Gran Espíritu, sabrás a lo que vengo. A entregar mi corazón, mi corazón. Corazón, que es lo único que tengo. A entregar mi corazón, mi